The God in me recognizes when He's moving in my life in such a way that I can embrace, my willingness to give it another shot. I actually pulled my bootstraps up mainly because at the end result of this project, I was like, is that me? It made me feel good.
The music world has come to a standstill as we say our final goodbyes to the legendary Angie Stone. In the midst of the grief and sadness, however, one tribute left fans utterly speechless. Angie Stone wasn't just a talented singer, she was a true force in the R&B genre. She helped shape the sound of neo-soul with her rich, soulful voice and unforgettable songs. Her career, which began with the group The Sequence, blossomed into a powerful solo career that produced timeless hits like No More Rain, In This Cloud, and Wish I Didn't Miss You. Her music wasn't just about melodies, it told stories of love, heartache, and strength. She created songs that resonated with so many and became anthems for listeners from all walks of life. Angie Stone's influence stretched far beyond the charts.
Details emerged following the fatal crash that has claimed the life of Grammy-nominated R&B artist Angie Stone.
R&B soul singer Angie Stone has died following a car crash. She was on the way to Atlanta following a performance.
She didn't just create music, she paved the way for many other artists. She was an inspiration to a whole generation of musicians, including legends like Erykah Badu and Jill Scott, who embraced her unique blend of classic soul and hip-hop. This combination of styles helped redefine what R&B music could be, influencing the next wave of artists and leaving a lasting mark on the industry. Angie was a true trailblazer. However, her impact wasn't just about the music. Angie Stone's legacy was about being a voice for those who felt like they didn't have one.
I love the fact that he ventured on waters that had never been treaded, that had been.
She sang for people who were hurting, people who needed to feel heard. Her voice wasn't just an instrument, it was a vessel for the stories of countless individuals, and in that way, she was a champion for the unheard. This past week, 2 funeral services were held in her honor, one private and one public. Both were filled with an outpouring of love and respect for Angie, from industry giants to longtime friends, and of course, her devoted fans. These 2 services painted a complete picture of who Angie Stone was both as an artist and as a person who touched so many lives.
Out there. I think that the songwriter might have been able to write some lyrics that we could understand, and he could have performed them where we really could understand. I think for the most part, he's a genius.
The public service, held in Atlanta, was a grand affair, fitting for someone whose presence was larger than life. It took place at a venue that could match Angie's incredible impact on music and culture. The room was filled with industry legends, collaborators, and fans who had followed her career for decades. The atmosphere was heavy with sorrow, yet filled with warmth and love. As attendees gathered to share their memories and stories of Angie, it was clear that her influence was far-reaching. Tyler Perry, a friend of Angie's and a renowned figure in the gospel and R&B community, was seen sitting front and center at the service. His emotion was evident as the tributes continued to pour in. Kirk Franklin, another legend in the gospel world, reflected on how Angie Stone had brought together the worlds of R&B and gospel in a way that helped people grow closer to their faith.
Very serious, and it made me humble myself to him, but he was always trying to teach and show us the right things to do.
Anthony Hamilton, a longtime friend and collaborator of Angie's, honored her memory by performing a heartfelt rendition of his song Charlene, with lyrics modified to pay tribute to Angie. The moment was emotional, and the crowd stood in awe of the heartfelt performance. Perhaps the most moving moment of the evening came from Keke Wyatt. Her voice quivered with emotion as she sang a powerful rendition of Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye. The crowd stood in complete silence, feeling every note as she poured out her grief and love for Angie. While the Atlanta service was a grand tribute to the public figure Angie was, the private service in Columbia, South Carolina, was a more intimate gathering. Only close family, friends, and those who truly knew Angie beyond her public persona were present. This was a space for people to share personal stories of Angie, her warmth, humor, and the way she was always willing to lift others up. The private service offered a window into the person behind the music. One of the most unexpected moments came from Lil Rodney C., Angie's ex-husband. For those unfamiliar, Lil Rodney C. wasn't just a name from Angie's past, he was an integral part of her journey. He had been there from the beginning, watching her rise from a young girl with big dreams to a superstar in the music world. As a founding member of the hip-hop group Funky 4+1, he also had his place in music history, but his connection to Angie went beyond music. Rodney's words at the funeral were deeply emotional and caught many by surprise. Despite their relationship not lasting, there was no denying the bond they shared, and that was evident in his tribute.
Of course, Dangelo and I were very good friends, but I need for you to know that as wonderful as that friendship has been, it came with a lot of challenges. And I'll tell you the nature of the industry based on a secret that I recently found out from someone who is credible, that let me in on some things that I didn't know even up until lately. And I have to tell you, it was shocking just to find out. But in any event, I will share them with you and let you know the devil don't play fair.
Standing at the podium, his voice trembled as he spoke about the woman he once called his wife. He didn't shy away from the struggles they had experienced together, but instead reflected on the lessons they learned. He spoke about how Angie was a force to be reckoned with, stubborn, passionate, and loving. "We didn't always get it right," he said, "but I never stopped respecting her, and I never stopped being proud of everything she accomplished." For many, the most surprising part of Lil Rodney C.'s tribute was the depth of his emotions. Known for his tough exterior and no-nonsense attitude, here he was, struggling to hold back tears. This was a man wrestling with his grief, a man who was clearly mourning the loss of someone who had meant so much to him. But it wasn't just words that made his tribute memorable, it was the music. After speaking, Rodney played a song that held a special place in their shared history. Some people believed it was a track they had enjoyed together during the early days of their relationship. Others thought it was a song he had written for her, specifically for this moment. Regardless, as the music played, the room was filled with emotion, and there wasn't a dry eye to be found. Fans watching from home were moved by the rawness of the tribute, with many sharing their reactions on social media. Some were touched by the depth of Rodney's love for Angie, while others speculated that there may have been unresolved feelings or regrets. The moment left many wondering if, in another life, they could have found their way back to each other. One comment read, "Lil Rodney's tribute was so raw and heartfelt. You could tell he still had so much love for Angie. This was the closure he never got." Another fan commented, "Hearing him break down like that really hit differently. It's crazy how loss makes people realize what they had all along." A third person wrote, "Man, this proves that love never really dies. No matter what happened between them, she was always in his heart. Rest in peace, Angie." Beyond the music and tributes, Angie Stone's legacy is about more than just her personal achievements, it's about the lasting impact she had on music and the artists who followed in her footsteps. Angie didn't just sing songs, she told stories through her music. Her songs about love, struggle, and resilience resonated with so many listeners and left a mark on the artists who followed her. She was a trailblazer in the neo-soul movement, but her influence extended far beyond that. Her voice was unique, soulful, raw, and filled with emotion, but it wasn't just her voice that made her special. It was her ability to connect with listeners on a deep, personal level. She blended classic soul with hip-hop influences in a way that was fresh and timeless. Artists like Jill Scott, Alicia Keys, Erykah Badu, and India Ari have all cited Angie as an influence on their music. Angie helped open doors for these artists and many others, inspiring them to share their stories and express themselves through music. Even today, Angie's music continues to inspire. Fans on social media, particularly platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, are rediscovering her songs and sharing their favorite tracks. From No More Rain, In This Cloud, to Wish I Didn't Miss You, her songs have become anthems of heartbreak, healing, and empowerment. Some fans have even started petitions to organize tribute concerts or streaming parties to keep her legacy alive. Angie Stone's impact went far beyond the music itself. She was a person who deeply impacted the lives of those who knew her. Lil Rodney C's tribute reminded everyone of something important, that it's not just the music that matters, but the person behind the music. His emotional words were a reminder to cherish the people in our lives while they're still with us. As fans continue to celebrate Angie Stone's incredible legacy, they are also reflecting on their own relationships, their own memories, and the way music shapes our lives. Angie may no longer be with us, but her music will continue to live on, and her influence will never fade. The words and songs she left behind are a part of the fabric of R&B and soul music, and her spirit will always be felt through the music that brought us all together. As we continue to mourn her loss, we also honor her legacy. Angie Stone may no longer be here with us in person, but her voice will always echo in the hearts of those who loved her music. Legends never die, they live on in the stories we tell, the songs we sing, and the memories we cherish. Rest in peace, Angie. Your spirit will live on forever.